Somebody sent me a video where a preacher in this country said that if Jesus was rich, he wouldn't have died. That Jesus died because he was poor.
Everybody hear me. People don't know scriptures. For 30 pieces of silver, Judas sold Jesus. So, money problem led Christ to the cross. Poverty in the life of one of his disciples is the reason why they nailed him.
That's why a preacher can stand in the pulpit and tell people that you cannot trust the holiness of a poor man. He doesn't know God. And I'm not mincing what he doesn't know God.
Poverty is a sign of ungodliness. To be poor means there is sin in your life. Unfortunately, people think it is those that are rich that have sin in their life. Never trust the holiness of a poor man. Listen, you can't carry girlfriend. The resources are not there. You can't go to Dubai and buy a house and keep a woman. You don't have the money. Anybody that has money and serve God is truly holy.
God said it, and I believe it. That said it.
Welcome back. That was Pastor ABEL DAMINA, and you know what he does? He breaks the table of prosperity preachers and teachers, those who said that God did not send them to talk about heaven or hell, that God asked them to empower, to tell you stories of how Jesus Christ was sold because of poverty. Well, this is from Pastor Korede. Korede is one of the spiritual offspring of Bishop David Oyedepo, one of the masters in prosperity teaching and preaching. They started their own version of prosperity, which was copied from the United States. We still have those who are into the same prosperity teaching in the United States. They are old. They are very old. You know them. They are there. You can just Google and find out about this fellows in the United States of America that taught the Nigerian pastors on how to give, to take, give, to receive from God. It's all about poverty. It's all about how poor you are. It's all about how rich you should be. It's all about how much you should bring to church. Now, I do not have any issue or problems with someone expanding his finance. Neither do I want to embrace poverty. No, not at all. I'm not saying no, because you're a Christian, you need to be poor. I'm not saying that being rich is a taboo or a sin. No, not at all. Don't get me wrong. But the way and manner most of these clerics push it, the way they talk about this money, one will wonder, what is this about? And some of them will come up with some kind of narrative or some kind of utterances that will shock you, such as Jesus Christ passed away very early because he did not pay tithe. Yeah. Words such as the one you heard from the spiritual son of Oyedepo, saying, look, poverty is the reason why Jude sold Jesus Christ. Poverty. Now, the thing is who is in charge of the money? Who is the bank? Who is the treasurer? I think it is the same man that sold. He is the one in charge of money. He sold Christ. Was it because it was supposed to be? He sold Christ. Yeah, he did. But is it as a result of poverty? Is that why he sold Christ, or greed? I think we have rich, greedy men. The same way we have poor, greedy men and women. Ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a shocker. You're about to hear some more bombshell. You'll be hearing from Bishop Oyedepo too, and you'll be hearing from ABEL DAMINA. You'll also be hearing from the gentleman, let me still address him that way, even though he's creating ruckus all over with his utterances. Let's get right into it.
That is an insult to the work of redemption. That is a total assault on the gospel. And those useless Supreme Council of hypocrites will not call such a person out because they are members of that cabal where money is their God.
Praise the Master Jesus. It's a great honor and a great privilege for me to be a son of the prophet. The devil came late. And that was how my journey with this legendary grace started. And until I finished from school, went for my NYSC in Jos, and then from there, God said to me, I should go under my father, Bishop David Oyedepo, and then until he released me into the work we are doing now.
Somebody asked me, why is it that in your church they don't talk about, rapture? It's not that we don't believe it, but we are not sent to preach it. It's not everything you believe you preach. Everyone is assigned to a particular way, to a particular assignment. Why is it that we don't preach about hellfire? Don't we believe it? Believe it very well. Satan and all who follow him will go there. But we are not sent to preach it.
When people like us preach Christ, they attack us because they are far from Christ, whose God is their stomach. How can somebody say that Jesus died because he didn't have money? That they used 30 pieces of silver to kill him? That if he was rich, it wouldn't have succeeded. He is even worse than Peter, who said, Jesus, you will not die. And Jesus said, get thee behind me, Satan, because you are an offense to the things of God. You savour not the things that be of God. So Jesus came to the earth not to die, or what? And that is a message in an entire convention, global convention, that if Jesus had money, that when Joseph of Arimathea showed up, who was a billionaire, he told Herod, I know that guy is my guy. Herod said, oh, we didn't know you know him. We wouldn't have killed him. Anyway, we are sorry for killing him. You can have his body. That it took a millionaire to just collect the body and bury it. These people, I don't know whether they even read Bible, or they just read village parables or village tales by moonlight. Jesus came to the earth to die. Ought not Christ, oh fools, oh zoomy, oh fools, slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Ought not Christ to have suffered these things and to enter into his glory? Jesus said, the poor you will always have. The poor you will always have. I'm sure they have not read in the book of Revelation where Jesus spoke to them through the angel and said, because you thought you are rich, because you thought you've acquired things, he said, but you don't know that you are naked, you are wretched, you are poor, you are blind. He said, because you thought you have acquired material things, you've acquired all kinds of cars, all kinds of money, you have lied to God's people, emptied their pocket, collected all their monies, and used it to build a luxurious life for yourself at the expense of their own living. You do not know that you are wretched, you are poor, you are blind. Revelation 3:17, because thou sayest, I am rich and increase with goods and have need of nothing, And thou knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked. Look at the next verse. I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich. Sitting to hear me teach this morning is the greatest wealth you can ever have. That thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with oil salve, that thou mayest see. Whoever is the spiritual father of such pastors needs to cover his face in shame and call them to the backyard in the kitchen and take them through class 101, in fact 001, so they stop disgracing him. Well, I don't blame them. Some of them, the father is as bad as the sons. So you can't worship God beyond what you know. That's what took us into that journey.
It's not possible. We are not given to help the needy, we are given to give your way out of poverty.
You must release to the level of his blessings on your life, or you're on your way to the grave.
Welcome back. You heard it all. You heard what ABEL DAMINA said, and you heard what the other pastor, Korede, said, that it took a rich man to take the corpse of Jesus Christ. If Joseph from Arimathea was not rich and wealthy, he would not have influenced the then leader or political head of Israel to take the body of Yeshua. That if it were a poor person that went, that poor person would have been kicked away. That it took a rich person. Well, the emphasis is on being rich. I don't know if somehow this gentleman had gone through poverty or had experienced poverty, or he is simply horning on what his spiritual father taught him, which is make money, become rich, get rich, or try dying. Whatever you want to do, do it. Make sure you become rich. Now, the thing is this, they don't end it there. They tie it to themselves. If you don't get rich and wealthy, let us even say rich, how then will you bring money to church? So they need to work upon you to bring that money to them. You can't bring penny. They want real cash, real money. Now, how do they make it binding? How do they make it binding? They put a covenant on it and attach you to that covenant. That's how it works. They put a covenant on it and say, look, God told me. And they will tell you it works. It's a covenant thing. It's a covenant thing. If you want that your money to remain, and they will give you stories that you can never track or trace. And they are quick to tap on certain event that happened, and they will say it as a consequence of that person not giving or that person challenging the giving. You've heard it several times from Adeboye talking about some handful of millionaires in his church, and handful of billionaires, and handful of these, and some asked for accountability, and he said he read the Bible. He didn't see anywhere Moses or anyone showed any form of accountability to the children of Israel. So he said, keep their money somewhere. And all of a sudden, he said something started happening to those people. And who knows, maybe he influenced the billionaires and the politician to not give contracts or to cut down or freeze their account or do something. Who knows? We don't know. But it is what it is. I'm not saying that God cannot step up when certain people become proud and arrogant. We need to balance this up. I'm not saying that it does not happen. There are times that God will raise people. They are called kingdom financier. God raises you to finance, and then you begin to act improper. God looks at your heart, your intent. Transparency is not like a bad thing. If they say we want to know what this money is used for, we want to have a record, an account, I think there is nothing bad about it. Yes, that's the truth of it. Accountability is not bad, depending on the structure and the acceptable terms and conditions there in the church. It's not like it's a bad thing per se. So Pastor Korede is training, like I said, and you cannot separate Korede from his spiritual grandfather, if I want to put it that way, or his spiritual father. You cannot separate both of them. They are both one and the same. They preach similar, they teach and talk similar. You even heard from Bishop that was forcefully sacked, also saying God did not send them to teach and preach about heaven and all of that. Whoever will go there will go. Theirs is not for salvation on how to get you to heaven. Their own is on earth, how you can become prosperous and bring the money based on covenant. The same Korede talked about 10-year first fruit covenant, and he asked people to come forward. Yeah, come forward. You have to do these things. And you also heard from Pastor Bishop saying you have to give out of the abundance of what you have, according to the abundance. If not, you're on your way to the grave, meaning you will RIP. They say these things times without number continuously. They attach fear, they attach poverty, they attach hunger, they attach a lot of things to your giving. Giving should be willing, but because people don't like to, unless there is something that has to do with their life or their source of income, unless something is attached to it, unless it is put on a balance, then they will give. That's just a thing. So it's a difficult thing for most of these clerics to float and fulfill. So they look for whatever it is that is applicable and they put it out there for you to lap on it. The thing is this, we should give willingly, and you should also know what and where you are giving to. It's very important. Very important. I don't know if you're connecting the dots together. We are not here to castigate people from seeking riches. You can, as long as you're doing it right and correctly. And I'm not here to say don't help the work of God on earth. I'm not saying you should not. I'm not saying so. But do not be scammed by some of these utterances coming out from the mouth of these fellows saying Jesus Christ passed away because of poverty, because Judas was poor. Are we going to say Jesus Christ was also poor? That Jesus Christ passed away because someone's poverty got ignited? It's greed. It is greed. If he wanted to steal the money, after all, he's a treasurer, he would have stolen 30 shekels. Oh, I want to sell him. And afterwards, he threw the money away. The money wasn't enough. The money wasn't good enough again for him. So I think it is greed, not poverty. It is greed. That does not mean that poverty cannot cause certain things. But this is greed. What are your thoughts? Drop your comment, like and share. See you in the next update.